I'm just going to rant for 5 minutes, and then Graham's going to do a live demo of the things that we're working on. So what is Moov? Moov is I've had the blessing of starting a company, Banno, that had a successful exit to Jack Henry, and then built a company with some friends called Bilgo, which is bill payment company, and really got involved in really angel investing and specifically in FinTech. So, you know, here's $500,000, here's $500,000, and then they go spend all of my money on interfacing to these low-level protocols that are called the United States financial services industry, rather than doing this, you know, awesome thing that they said they were going to do in the VC pitch. So they're figuring out Metro 2 formats for credit reporting or IRS fire reporting and these weird flat file systems in order to do that. So Moov was started actually based off of a ludicrous lyric of this concept of how do we get these legacy systems out of the way. And I think that what we've done at Moov is we've gone out and we've open sourced currently 37 different low-level libraries. And these 37 libraries, you really need to know what the hell you're doing in order to utilize. So it's that low-level building block. And so probably the types of companies that are on this call today would be the optimal users in order to leverage these technologies. And these low-level building blocks allow you to do things like ACH wire, image cache letter, Metro 2, IRS, ISO 20022, ISO 8583, kind of that. And if you don't know what any of those mean, then there's probably like a turnkey service provider that is more ideal to work with. But if you want to get down to that low-level building block, you know, maybe you should check us out. So what we've done with these libraries is we've developed a pretty robust community of about 1,000 people that are sharing information, sharing knowledge, sharing use cases. Some of our libraries have been run through all the transactions at Bank of America in the last 3 years, all the transactions at PayPal, Square, Visa. So huge sets of data have been run through these libraries, which gives you kind of that confidence that you can build on top of them, because we continue to see these pieces, these building blocks as really critical infrastructure for people, but not a critical differentiator. And the difference with payment libraries is when you know, FIS decides that they're going to use a Windows character return rather than, you know, what the Notches specification has, that payment fails. And so if you kind of write your software from scratch each time, you really don't get that nice crowdsourced community aspect in order to learn from one another. And I think that's what I'm most excited about what we're doing at Moov is financial services has always been a black box, whether that's the software or the COBOL or RPG code that was running on the mainframe. There's no real way of understanding how this stuff worked. And you know, Ben wrote a joke in here, you know, as long as you know the number of fields inside of ISO 8583, you know, then you can get into this other Slack channel. But the funny thing is most people don't even know how these protocols work that have been around for 30 years. And so I think there's something about having documentation, and there's something more important about having a reference architecture or reference implementation. Areas that I've been fascinated by how the community is embracing it is, you know, like machine learning, you know, being able to parse all of your Swift transactions for the last 3 years and load that into TensorFlow and build a machine learning model. Companies like Square that take 7 different ACH libraries that they've all written in-house or cobbled together from different acquisitions and unify that onto a single code base. So we're having a lot of fun building a great community. We've got some crazy investors that think, you know, let's keep on putting some free software out there and eventually we'll make money. So excited to share just one example, have Graham share one example of what we're doing with ACH. But again, you know, there's 37 other libraries that are doing that. And if you have an idea for a project that we're not currently supporting, you know, we'd love to kick it off and let the community build out that source code together. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Graham because I have been raising money rather than coding, which is what I did for the first year and a half of this company. So Graham? Maybe Graham?
Yep.
Maybe
Well,
Graham.
I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm ready to present if you want to toss it over to me.
You should have co-host privileges now.
All right. Let's see here. Sharing. Okay, we should be good. Can everybody see me looking at my own system preferences now?
I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe it's on a different screen.
Share screen, desktop, share.
That's looking better.
All right.
You may have to open the system preferences on that guy.
Fun. Do that again. All right. Looks like we did it. We're sharing our screen. Everyone can see.
Can see. Good to go.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Wade, for handing it off. So Graham McBain, the technical community manager here. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this with everybody. So I come from the open source crypto world. So for me to come into FinTech and learn that basically nothing was open source was a pretty interesting way to learn knowledge there. But so that's why it was really cool for me to see what Moov is doing. I'm someone who's believes that if you democratize access to tools, that's better for everybody. And so this just really resonated with me, the stuff that we're creating here. So I wanted to give you a quick overview. You know, the rule is never do live demos, but I don't really like to listen to that. So here's our GitHub page. So Wade was talking about some of the systems that we use, or some of the protocols that we've open sourced. I'm going to give a demo of our ACH because apparently that's what everyone's talking about today. And just wanted to share a little bit more about that. One thing that I think is really cool, our Watchman project here, is that global watch list Wade was talking about. One of the engineers that we actually hired worked in another company. They were looking to do a watch list type project, and they saw that we had most of the lists they were searching on, but we didn't have the one that they were searching on. And so what they ended up deciding to do as a company was contribute to the library, bring in their own watch list that they needed, and then with the rest of the project, they got all the other services that they weren't necessarily needing right away, but it just was a better solution than creating something from scratch. Really cool to see that. We had a community meeting yesterday. We do these working groups around each one of these protocols to just get feedback from the community. And one of our community members is using the image cache letter project. And so they went to their CEO and said, hey, look, we don't need to build this from scratch. We can use this Moov library. And so they've been able to stub it out, use this library to start testing out, sending a file, getting it back. And before they realized anything, they were able to move a lot faster. So they were able to implement this project by the end of this year, which is like under 6 months. They thought it would have taken over a year otherwise. So it's been really cool to see how powerful sharing information is. I know what it is from my other background, but it's just cool to see it happening in real life and happening with such core fundamental systems for payments. So let's take a look at the Moov ACH library. So I'm sure a lot of you know this, but you know, ACH file formats are incredibly interesting to look at. That was something that was really fascinating for me to learn, that they're character limited. When I grew up in Arizona, there was a building that actually had the side of the building was a punch card. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty antiquated. And then to, you know, spend 10 years in technology and find out that the remnants of punch cards are still living amongst us today was really fascinating. So what the ACH project does is really simple. It's either an HTTP library or a Go package that allows you to take your customer data in just JSON, feed it to the library, and then you're going to get back a Nacha compliant file that you can then send to your institution. Super simple, right? But it's something that's actually really powerful if you've ever had to deal with this before. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go and we make it available as a Docker image because everybody knows how to use Docker. And so it just seems like a really quick way to get up and running. So let's grab this. Going to pull the latest version of it. I already have it, so that's sort of cheating. And then we'll go ahead and run it. Regina, don't bark at people while I'm giving a demo. Come on. Sorry. Live demos. That's why you don't do it. We're getting furniture delivered today. So now, Reggie, stop. All right. So we're going to go ahead and run this, whether or not my dog is actually talking to the people delivering our furniture. Thank you, wife, for pulling the dog away. So it looks like it's running. Let's go ahead and go check it out. You can, normally we would run a curl request to see what errors there are, but you can see, looking at localhost, that they've got no files here. So now the next thing we're going to do is actually post a file. So here you can see we're taking some test data. It's a PPT debit, and we're going to grab that. I will actually use curl for this. Open a new window in my terminal, post that data. We can look back and see if it's working. Looks like the file got created. And so now we'll take a look at that file. And there you go. So you can see we took an ACH file, posted it to the HTTP server, and then we got back that file, and then now it's available in JSON. So if you're building a web application, instead of having to write your own conversion, you can now just interface with JSON like you do with every other type of data. So this is, like I said, it's really powerful for people who know that they've had to deal with this before. Now I want to go show you in our community. So this is our Slack channel. We're promoting Slack channels today, slack.moov.io. Go ahead and jump into here. We've got groups for all the different projects that we're working on. So if you're in our ACH channel here, if you go up to the pin message, you can see we've actually got an in-browser parser. So raise your hand if you're an extremely huge nerd and you like WebAssembly, or if you're excited about what it is. WebAssembly basically allows you to take any server-side code and compile it to JavaScript and have it run in the browser. So it's sort of a new standard that's coming out. One of our lead engineers is just a mega nerd. He's on this call, so calling him out for that. And what that means is that you can play with this file even with PII data, and because it's all running on your local machine, you don't have to worry about sending data to our public server and dealing with that. So just from a testing perspective, it's really easy to play with. So here's an ACH file. If you didn't believe me that they're weird to look at, let's go ahead and grab that, go into our parser, and then we just paste the file contents and then parse it to JSON. So you can see you're getting this format, which is not adorable to say the least, and you're getting back really pretty JSON, which is wonderful. So that's our parser. We've actually got those available for Image Cache Letter and a few other projects that we're working on. This right now is unidirectional, so it's just ACH to JSON, but we're going to start doing it the other way so that if you want to see what your output is from your application and get it back as an ACH file before you send it or before you do it as a test, if you're one of those strange people that can just read an ACH file, that'll be something that you can play with. So that's our quick demo of Moov, including the dog. So I appreciate everybody taking a look at it. But yeah, that's Moov. That's what we're doing. Really hope everybody comes and joins our Slack channel. We want to announce a FinTech developer conference coming up next year. So if you're interested in speaking at that, it's something we'd love to get more people excited about. But Zach and Ben, thank you guys for putting this on, and I'm happy to have Wade answer questions.